Hello, Rama Rama Pupode. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, having a relaxed and wonderful life. Now let's go to chapter 17, part 2. God is for him who thirsts for truth. Along the parikrama was a brahmachari ashram where a dozen young boys were imparted tuition in the Vedic law and trained to observe the discipline and ritual of the ancient days. In front of the ashram was set up a yajna kund where the brahmacharis assembled every day with their preceptor and performed yajna in accordance with the Vedic rites, accompanied by the incantation of mantras. Besides the yajna kund, there were also small structures, artistic pieces of Indian architecture facing the ashram. In one of these, Ramdas passed a night. In the course of the rounds of the hill, he had come upon a mad-looking sadhaka. Truly, God intoxicated men are in sense mad, uttering Ram Nam aloud ceaselessly, at one time sitting outside the small mandis on the parikrama and at another walking around. One night, Ramdas took his position on the raised pedestal around the Yajna Kund for his meditation. Here he was joined by this sadhaka who was also settled on it beside him. While Ramdas was reciting Ramnam within breath, he was as usual taking the name aloud. Hour after hour passed. They went on with the japa. It might have been past 3 o'clock. Sleep overpowered the sadhaka, and he rolled down on a seat and slept. Half an hour had not passed when he started up with a cry and beheld Ramdas sitting and going on with his japa. He became perfectly wild with rage with himself and spoke with bitterness and deep contrition. Wretched fool that I am! I allowed sleep to deprive me of bhajan. Look, he is still awake. What a control he has on sleep. Referring to Ramdas. I understand now. It was the food that I ate in the evening that is responsible for this lapse. Oh, I am losing precious time. Verily, God is for him who is seized with such a burning thirst for truth. Ram Navami celebrations usually continue for 9 days. The first day came, and thousands of pilgrims from various parts of India streamed into Chitrakut, parikrama or walking round the Kamtanath hill, on which Sri Ramachandra and Sita performed tapas, was considered by the devotees to possess high spiritual merit. So, thick crowds of pilgrims tramped round the sacred hill. In the course of his walks on this path, Ramdas had noted the Pilikoti ashram to which were related Swami Nirbhaya Anand and his wife, the saintly pair he met in Jhansi. He found the ashram decorated with festoons, flags, and shamiyanas, and hundreds of sannyasis who were attracted from several places of India assembled within its precincts. The motto of the ashram was to serve with food any sannyasi who happened to visit it. The head of the ashram was Swami Akhananand, a famous sannyasi of United Provinces. His disciple Swami Sachit Anand, a Sanskrit scholar, was the manager of the institution. The ashram had also attached to it a small free Sanskrit Padashala for boys. Swami Nirbhayanand, his wife, and a brother of his, Swami Rama Anand, who was at the time in the ashram, were also disciples of Swami Akanta Anand, who had a large following both among the sannyasis and the householders. He and his sannyasi disciples in their itinerant life in certain seasons lived for some period in Jhansi. They had heard of Ramdas from Ramkinkar but had no occasion to see him. When starting from Jhansi, Swami Nirbhaya Anand had asked Ramdas not to fail to visit the Pilikoti ashram. Now Ramdas, entering the grounds of the ashram, mingled with the throng of sannyasis. At midday, he joined with them in their feast. In the afternoon, taking a walk around the hill, he returned to the ashram in the evening He occupied for the night a stone bench. A number of such benches had been erected in the yard. The peculiarity with them was that the upper slab was fitted on the upright at a slight angle, as to keep one's head at a higher level when one reclined on it at full length. In the nights, these slabs were cold as ice. As night advanced, Ramdas, wanting to rest, covered himself with a part of the only cloth he had, the other part of which he spread on the bench and lay down. In those days he had very little sleep. An hour later, a young sannyasi who had come with 2 blankets drew his attention. Maharaj, have these kambals. The cold is bitter, he urged. Ramdas vacated the bench and the sannyasi spread a blanket on the slab and covered him with the other after he rested on it. Everybody is kind to him because everyone is he. Next day, at daybreak, he went to the river for a bath. The goat had now become his companion. He came back to the ashram by midday. In the evening, the young sannyasi who provided him with the blankets the previous night, seeking his society, took him to his kuti, which stood on the opposite side of the road. Ramdas spoke to him of his meeting with Swami Nirbhaya Anand and his wife at Jhansi. Then he inquired of Ramdas his name. He gave it. The night passed. The following day, early as usual, he went to the river for bath and reappeared by noon at the ashram. On the front veranda of a small outhouse, a number of sannyasis had assembled. As he entered the compound, they were, to a man, gazing deliberately at him and giggling. He was about to walk past them when Swami Sachit Anand, the manager of the institution, cried, "Halt! Come in here," he accosted, beckoning Ramdas on to the veranda. He got in. "We have been contemplating upon the nature of punishment to be meted out to you," the Swami continued. One of the saints was holding a stout cane. Smiling, Ramdas took the stick from its owner and offering it to Swami, said, "Here is a stick. Punish Ramdas to your heart's content," and bending down, presented his back for the treatment. All laughed. "Not that," explained the Swami. "We have hit it all right. You have to stay in this ashram 1 full year. This is the punishment. If Ram does not will it so, ask Ramdas quietly. It is Ram who speaks through us." He rejoined, "Ram speaks also in Ramdas. He says Ramdas cannot agree to your proposal," said Ramdas. "We shall see about it. We are putting you in a separate room and one of us will mount guard on you. You cannot escape us," he said, shaking his head. "Ram's will be done." Ramdas replied, "Now, have you any idea of the charge against you?" he questioned. "You have already pronounced the judgment. What does it matter whether Ramdas knows or not what the charge is?" answered Ramdas. "However, I am willing to tell you what it is." He went on, "You have outwitted us for 2 days. You were with us perfectly incognito. We had heard of you and wished greatly to see you. Hence the punishment for your deception." That's all, folks. Let's see in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupode.